now. Welcome back to the tilt. We started on the Arabian Peninsula in Qatar. We've headed to always a great trip over the Atlantic to the Circuit of the Americas. The next 40 minutes or so, we will find out who will be the victor in this Portuguese Grand Prix. Jose, without any question, is back, bigger, better, stronger, and faster than ever. Whole shot device. Not a mistake he's like to make again, Lewis.
Arriving very slowly to his grid slot.
Your company once again here as we are set to on pole position. It's lights out and we are racing in MotoGP here in Portugal. And there Bastian does.
And Marquez also making progress. He was side by side with Acosta into turn number one and bumped the roof.
Viñales very early on. It's actually Viñales who's holding on to that third. Bagnaia just trying to regroup here. And here comes a lunge from the 8-time world champion through the tight turn 8 over the 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who it is who's dropped down the order. Bagnaia and Marquez continue to go side by side. They need to keep an eye on.
Hasn't it this year for Frankie Mordelli? Pre-season he had a testing as a result of the concussion that followed. He needed seat time badly, but Mordelli, what he's doing is playing into hands of Martin Bastian and Viñales ahead. Viñales now has taken second place titles last year through to
Fabio Quartararo is still in ninth place. Alex Marquez has now gone down, so we've lost 2 of the Ducatis in the first couple of laps.
Has not got the early speed to go with the Martinator.
A little bit of a gap opening up behind Marquez, and it looked through turn 14 as if Pedro Acosta was 39.0 for Jorge Martin. Fastest lap of the race, his lead 0.6 of a second.
Ahead of him, here comes Acosta. We thought about it, that was really close.
Place.
Yeah, he's going to run in hot there. And Acosta trying to force the issue on the inside of Miller in Canapso. I'm sure if there was some kind of early mistake by Mir. Now then, here's Bagnaia trying to force the issue, pick up some slipstream on the ground as they now click top gear and approach
1.580. He pulled 0.3 of a second back on Martin, cut his lead in half from Sebastian down. Our third crasher of this Grand Prix. Brilliant. The only consolation for the home fans is that it's not his teammate Miguel Oliveira who's gone down. Oliveira has gained a little. Teammate is trudging through the gravel trap at turn 8.
Track house to the doghouse right now for Ralph Fernandez, isn't it? No points in the first 2 Grand Prix. A twitch on the rear tyre for Bastianini. He got the power on coming through the high speed turn 15. Binder now trying to line up a move, and he probably just had a bit of a wobble, a bit of a head shake. We know how these bikes can get disturbed when another bike is right.
But he tried earlier on, didn't he, Pedro Acosta, to pass Jack Miller into turn 3, made the mistake and released Binder. He's now seeing
slower, not by much, but still slower significantly than the 2 riders who are directly ahead of him. Martin 25.
Pedro Acosta looks really aggressive and keen, doesn't he? Behind Brad Binder. I don't think Binder
here, he's trying to find a way through. Binder's just that little bit sharper on the brakes going in. He's now the fastest rider in this race. A 1:38.978 from Anea in 2 or 3 bike lengths or more away from Bastian. Just cannot close him in.
Yeah, the gap between Martin and Viñales together. So Bagnaia is 1.2 seconds off the lead and fractionally quicker than Mark.
The boss, the owner, the CEO of the Piero Mobility Group. Massive smile, big win, big laugh.
You're right, rear tyre wise here, it's not the same problem as in Qatar. Like Binder was saying, basically, and Pedro's given the front a hard time. It's not the rear that's the worry, I think.
The 23 race on Sunday night in Qatar was Marc Marquez. He's now picked off the 8-time champion. Once he has 3 races in a row. Martin leads it by just over 0.2 of a second.
He's now in the 38.9 again, Pedro Acosta. He's
the biggest ever Premier Class race winner, taking the record away from Marc Marquez. He's getting the dashboard message on the charge here, just as he was in Qatar. There's still a long way to go. We have to emphasise here in Portimao, 16.5 laps.
And we know from what we've seen already in the first Grand Prix and a half, Pedro Acosta does not care remotely.
A cliff, but he knew also as well that he's just going to go for it. The only way he's going to learn is by too far ahead for him to attack down the hill into the first corner. Marquez there, just keeping a nice watching brief.
Diamond, he's thinking, do you know what? I don't care if you're the rookie. It's between them, either side of him. Pedro Acosta's got 2 himself, so he's not exactly a spring chicken, but what a job he's doing. To the 3 ahead of him.
It's been a good lap this, good 11th lap of 25 for Martin, because he's just eked that lead back up to that final couple of corners than Jorge Martin. Nothing really between them in terms of lap times. 39.1 from Martin. He's on the inside of the double MotoGP world champion. Crikey, how has he stayed on board?
I'm very impressed, Pedro. I just wish he had a little bit more confidence. This is incredible.
This on the inside of the double MotoGP world champion Pecco Bagnaia, the KTM, the manufacturing management, and they are being treated. Some showed on the inside of Bagnaia. I don't think he's going to be close enough this time around. Bastianini at the moment is the only rider on circuit that's able to keep himself in those 138s.
Even for the moment, although to be fair, he was a couple of tenths quicker than this trio. Of course, as Acosta was trying to pass Bagnaia into turn 1. Binder Bargo is now up to 12, having set his personal best lap last time around.
Yeah, a bit of a humbling day so far for Aleix Espargaro. Although I said pre-race he'd be very, very happy, satisfied with the top 10. That's exactly where he sits right now. This has been unreal though, hasn't it?
I really love it. And like the speed of him, we've known is always there. Like I said, I don't think the big fear is the rear tyre. Not to run off the track, losing the rear on the rear brake and still manage to lose.
Halfway through this 25-lap Grand Prix, 138 making his attack. Now, 8 tenths nearly clear of Vinales.
Yeah, Vinales respawned Marc Marquez last time around.
This is down into the first corner. A mistake from Pedro time. He's certainly been abusing that Michelin front tyre on the right-hand side, hasn't he? The hard front with the distinctive yellow band.
First experience with the best boys. I'm trying to see it.
End of lap 16, and it's still the number 89 of Jorge Martin that leads. He's digging deep to try and go with Martin. He's now set the fast of the Grand Prix, 138.818.
Even with that error into turn 1, lost in the end 1/10 of a second over the full lap to Bagnaia. He certainly repaired the damage over the rest of that 16th lap.
Fairly potent threat that's normally posed by a certain Marc Marquez. Marquez over the line to start lap 17 was nearly 3 Binder and Jack Miller inside that Piero Mobility group. That's exactly what he's doing right now. Here's Vinales then in second place, around 6, 7, 8 tenths of a second as we look at him come over turn 8.
His teammate up in second place. Here he is, Maverick Vinales. This is certainly what the Aprilia is capable of if it can qualify.
9.573. Mira in the points in 15th place and trying to get a day after what's been a very frustrating weekend for the young Marquez sibling. No points at all, doesn't he? None other than the double MotoGP world champion who just cannot break away. Have started to really gap Marc Marquez, who's running out of rhythm late on here. Marquez now is over a second behind for what's a lonely 6th place. As we just mentioned, he's over a second behind Acosta.
Much like Bagnaia did in Qatar, he's just doing a wonderful job at the moment of managing that gap, just keeping Vinales at arm.
Marquez sensing this certainly better for Jorge Martin.
Worse now.
Yeah, here comes Pedro Acosta on the inside on the cutback. Bagnaia coming through. Pecco, no problemo. Important.
Okay, I'll try into turn number 3 and just stuffed up the inside really of the reigning world champion who was trying that cutback but was
just obviously been waiting for a late push here. Been nursing those tyres. Down there into the first gear, turn 13. What a battle this is raging late on here. This little battle between Bagnaia and Marquez, you can see that Acosta has already completely. Bastianini has just set another best lap of this Grand Prix, a 138.685.
Serious damage limitation mode now. He did a 140.394 last time around. He was not the weekend I thought Bagnaia was going to have.
The start of this lap 22 was the just over half a second. We'll follow Bagnaia and Marquez down the hill through.
Right, but the last time he did that, Maverick at Le Mans came in, they both crashed, and you could see Bagnaia.
Controversial incident where there was some afters in the gravel track, wasn't there, between Vinales and Bagnaia.
8 to go.
138.824 from Acosta. There's been no till weeks ago. And now Bastianini here has clearly got race-winning pace, but he's got to find a way through defensive action here, which has been broken. Marquez goes, and they've both gone down. Oh, unbelievable. Pecky fight, and there is contact between what was the 63 and 93. The number one of Bang
to wait long for fireworks, did we, between Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia. Bagnaia going for that very cutback that we were told. Marquez just didn't want to release the gap.
Major talking point, as we said. Simon, what are your initial impressions of what we've just seen there between Bagnaia and Marquez?
On the cutback, but just the impact.
He was at the centre, at the focal point of a major talking point in Portimao.
Up over the inside, and Marc Marquez is just trying to get himself back onto line, having gone up the inside and ran wide. It's very similar that to what we saw.
Was the potential for some tricky management situations just looming. Maverick Vinales in second place.
The other go through. Marquez spotted the opportunity and went up the inside, and the contact sent them both down to the final lap. And Vinales is now down. Surely Maverick Vinales doesn't think the Grand Prix is over here, does he?
Surely he does, and then he spits him in the air. What late drama we've had, Liebel.
Wow.
You cannot believe, you couldn't script this, could you? It looked like it, but what this means now is then Jorge Martin is going to win the Portuguese Grand Prix. He's 1 point. Martin, a last special one, has witnessed a special race here in Portugal. Jose Mourinho does take second place. Great job by the Italian from pole. And Pedro at the start of the final lap of the first corner, Acosta is on the Quattararo. Aleix Espargaro is 8th. Oliveira 9th. Takanaka and Jones Arco collect points. So many talking points in that Grand Prix.
Was ready for today, not for the soft, because the big day is today at the point, much more today than yesterday. So
And Vinales' bike as he came over the line, but what do you make of that?
Guys, I don't know any more than you. I didn't see the replay there.